have sweet bread. I didn't even realize it had sweet bread. So we have something for after. So we want to proceed with the rest of the afternoon. We have a spiritual treat for the rest of the afternoon as well. And we have the spiritual coach. Please welcome Sister Nirmala.
So, after a wonderful and sumptuous lunch and an amazing exercise session, I offer my most humble pranams onto the divine lotus feet of my beloved Bhagwan, Sri Sssiott Sai Baba. Central Coordinator of the West Indies, Dr. Gautam Tiwari, President of the Organization of Trinidad and Tobago, Sister Vinti Mohib, all office bearers, devotees, respected elders, and to all joining in via our live stream, Sairam, Assalamu Alaikum, and a most pleasant good afternoon, and welcome to all to this wonderful retreat. So we jump right in because we have a very strict timekeeper. So the objectives of the organization's devotional wing primarily to facilitate an individual's spiritual progress based on the teachings of Bhagwan Sri Sssiott Sai Baba. Please note that spirituality does not mean a life of solitude, locking yourself in a room, that kind of thing. It's quite the opposite, actually. True spirituality lies in understanding the unity of the entire humanity and giving up the sense of attachment and hatred. And if we are to go a little bit deeper, spirituality is about finding our purpose in life, understanding of which we are a part of is cosmic or divine in nature. So, the devotional wing focuses on, and it's itemized, group devotional singing representing all faiths, study circles, prayer, meditation, retreats like this one we are having here to strengthen one's faith, devotional fervor and understanding, practice of spiritual principles, meaning some of them are acceptance, hope, faith, courage, service. As we move on, Baba says, your life is a song on the glory of God. Sing it from your soul. Sing it aloud so that the atmosphere, polluted by greed, hatred, and envy, can be purified by these holy vibrations. So before we focus on group devotional singing, next slide, Barry. Next one. Yeah. Before we focus so much on group devotional singing practice is highly recommended for when we glorify God, who is a lover of music. With all of our singing, our bhajans, our songs, however we want to put it, sing with your heart and soul, so that your timing, your melody, your rhythm, all of these being important and comes with practice. In that way, we make our devotional session a sacred offering to divine. So we know now that practice is very, very important. This is one of the things that the devotional wing is responsible for. So President was saying earlier that we to have structure where we can have this practice being taken place. And here's another important aspect. Devotional wing encourages all to make an effort to understand what they are singing, or understand the meaning of their songs and prayer. For Baba says, if not understood, it is only mysterious mumbling. Baba has prescribed group devotional singing as the sadhana, or spiritual practice for this age. So let us make all our devotional offerings a process of singing your prayer to God. I've read recently actually, Dr. Hislop has, as a result of many years of research, declared that prayer has a highly curative effect on the body and mind. That is the result of constant devotional singing or recital of the name. So this is why understanding what we sing is important. And now it's so easy that all of the books, the song books, the bhajan books comes with the meaning beneath. So it's, even if you go on YouTube to find a song, the meaning is there. So it's so easy now. Devotional Wing is also responsible for presenting national proposed programs and activities for the year. Example where we began the year with our National Unity of Faiths program in January, and it's throughout the year. This goes all the way down to December with all our Christmas offerings and Christmas programs. Of course, when we plan programs, national programs, we do it in such a way, as we are looking at doing now, smart planning. It doesn't clash with the regions and the centers, so all of this is important. Devotional Wing is not a one person. It's called Wing for a reason. It's a team. And not to overlap what Brother Vidal would have said, but it really is what it is. Let the different faiths exist. Let them flourish. Let the glory of God be sung in all the languages, in a variety of tunes. That should be ideal. And like my sister Clouty said, this is a sensitive topic. In that light, what I would like to add to it is that even though we are singing in the different languages or the English bhajans or hymns and all of that, it must be done in such a way that every other devotee should be able to follow. Yes, and that also comes with practice. Baba speaks of 3 stages. Concentration can be compared to the state of one you think you are. Contemplation, one others think you are. And meditation enables us to recognize the state of one we really are. And in that light, Baba also prescribed the Jyoti meditation, or the light meditation, where each and every one of us sitting here can go on the internet and find out what it is and start practicing. Actually, some of our centers already do. One devotee was saying that there's a meditation being part of the satsang on a weekly basis. So this is what we talk about when we say meditation. We go on to Before we go to the question, is Dr. Chattargun in the audience? Thank you, Swami. yes. So I clearly remember last year. So anyway, that is our short presentation on the devotional wing, and we have our questions. What are your suggestions for improvement for national programs? One of them. The second one, how can we improve the devotional wing both in our centers and nationally? Anyone?
Sairam, everyone.
Sarah.
I just going to the second part of the question. How can we improve the devotional wing both in our centers and national? I think one of the things centers should coordinate is a sort of bhajan training for lead singers. With your musician, of course, from time to time, because you just have devotees come in and, they want to give their best shot, but you need some training, some level of training, because it takes the satsang to a really divine level. Without the absence of that training, you will have some difficulties coordinating with musicians and so on. So I think one of the things we could do is to have some training. Especially, in some group maybe don't have the coordination, but if you got to ask, fortunately we have Brother Charlie here, previously one or two, but you could ask other centers, member centers to assist you when you have a training. Sarah.
Surely, sure. We understand clearly, and that was discussed prior. As President said, it's a structure and planning, which is what we are going to implement. So. Sarah.
Hello.
Sarah.
One suggestion is that when I went to Riverside, California, at the international conference last year, April, I noticed that we had lots of bhajan sessions, and all the singers were really professional singers, in the sense that people weren't just allowed to come up and say, okay, you come and sing, or grab the mic, They were all very professional singers. And I think at our national programs, I think we should only have, when I say professional, I don't mean trained professionally. I'll say the best singers at national programs, because you feel really uplifted when you have good singers. That's one suggestion.
Thank you, Dr. Tiwari.
Sairam, it's me again, Dilip Pujram, also known as Sunil from Angola, Philip Science Center. So, two things, right? To the first question, I think for national programs, people who sing in those bhajans or those songs should sing the songs that we are more familiar with, right? Don't try to do the latest one that nobody don't know and nobody cannot back sing. For the second part of the question, or the second question, I think most of us here, or most people here, are office bearers, right? So what they could do is encourage their musicians especially to join with other centers who have less musicians or no musicians and help boost their satsangs, right? So it will also encourage other people to come to those satsangs. Thank you, Sairam.
Madam Chairperson, I don't know why we just think when you say the word devotional, we just thinking about bhajans. There are so many different aspects of devotional. I remember growing up as a young man in this organization almost 50 years ago, probably more. We used to have like things like sadhana camps and meditation and all these things about it. I don't know if you guys remember those days. And what used to happen in those days is, you know, being brought up in that sort of environment and coming back to when we had the discussion with Brother Lakan earlier on, when we were talking, and then Shah made such a salient point about not telling people what to sing because of the bhakti and whatnot. It is very important that we as Sai devotees have to understand we are not just ordinary individuals. We are not just Hindus and Muslims and Christians find ourselves in our organization. We are in a spiritual organization that is led by the avatar who walked the earth. And if we cannot identify with other religions and other type of devotional songs and what are inculcated in our lives, then we're missing what the whole aspect of the transformation, what the Lord really wants to teach us and what the Lord came for. So there must be some sort of devotional, not only from a bhajan perspective, but also from a sadhana and meditation perspective also. So we could really get the real nectar of what the avatar came here to make us really sarvadharma persons. Thank you.
Yes, Sairam, just one point for brother. If in a center there are some good singers and then there are some not so good singers needing help, one of the suggestions I always have is that people join together to sing. So if a singer is not the perfect singer, you can do a group song with 2 or 3 like ladies together. If you know you can't time music, I mean, we're not little kids here. You must know what you can and can't do. If the devotional coordinator knows that a person is lacking in timing, for instance, suggest nicely to them, look, can you sing together with this lady or that lady? So therefore you keep the satsang going well, because you don't want to be responsible for people coming there and not really feeling a good vibe. So that's one suggestion I can make right away that you can do in your center. People sing together if they are weak. And the other thing where they said we help other centers, that is very important too, because we started doing like in the current Sai Center, Gasparilla will support the center 1 month, and centers from Patiram, Trace, etc. support the center. So powerful centers or centers that have good musicians, singers, can go and help the other centers when they have satsang. So it builds the morale of the devotees. Sairam, Sister Vidya wants to.
Sairam. First, we need to establish what is devotion. And like Vinu said, devotion is not only the rendering of bhajans. Devotion is eagerness to do good acts, and to have good thoughts, faith. Faith in God, compassion towards all beings. And this is, I believe, this is my opinion, is the greatest part of devotion. Bhajan is one part of devotion, but I mean, being compassionate to others is really the greatest part of devotion. And also with respect to singing, I mean, whilst we are saying that we must choose our best singers to put at the forefront, we must also be very careful how we make other devotees feel in terms of lesser than. So in order to eliminate that feeling, we should encourage in all centers bhajan training, and that will eliminate the problem of making people feel lesser than, like myself. Sairam.
Sairam, thank you, Sister Clouty. And yes, all of the comments and suggestions are being noted. We will work on it. Yes.
Sairam, Sister
Sairam.
Vidya, National Education Coordinator. Now I'm hearing about devotional singing. We have the universal prayers, universal singing. But I remember a few years ago, and I was a participant in this, we used to have like the Rudram chanting by the banyan tree.
She's by the speaker. Yeah. Speak. Come.
The Rudram chanting by the banyan tree with the youths. And maybe we could, reintroduce that again, because we do have someone who is teaching the Rudram chanting, and it's very interesting to, to share it with the other devotees. Also, the Lakshachana, am I pronouncing it correct?
Laksharchana.
Yes. Why don't we bring back those, aspects of it into the national programs?
Yes, Sister Vidya.
Thank you.
So we understand clearly, Laksharchana, it's the offerings of the grains, yeah. So while after you've performed Havan, or even after you've performed the Rudram chanting, and actually recently we have had a couple times where we did have Rudram chanting, and now that there's a group who is learning even more than we had before, we could, implement. Thank you, Sairam.
Are you finished? Can I ask one question? Right. Many years ago, in fact in the early 2000s, we had several workshops across the country and the Caribbean on who am I? Self-inquiry. Now, I was part of that whole process. And I was very involved with it because of maybe my peculiar psychology. Now, we're talking about bhajan singing. We're talking about Jyoti meditation. But I'm going to ask the bhajan, when you're singing, who is singing? Who is the individual, or what awareness is aware of you singing? The same with the Jyoti meditation. Whenever you like going down and up and down, who is watching? Right? So, my whole focus is finding out who is the watcher, the observer, or what is the awareness behind all these things. Adi Shankaracharya has said, I think one of his books, I think it's Viveka Chudamani, that bhakti or devotion is the constant search for the self. So the self is myself, the Atman. Who am I? So the focus then, I agree that bhakti and so on, bhajan and so on is very good, is excellent, right? The Jyoti meditation is excellent. But the who am I think, is also extremely important in knowing who in fact you are, or I am. You see? And we talk about devotion and so on, but nobody is asking who I am or who am I.
So
You see?
as I did mention prior, or actually in the beginning, when I said we'll go a little bit deeper, spirituality really is knowing that we are part of divine nature. So I did.
Yes, I mean, I agree with that. But the thing is, are we making an effort to find that by asking who I am or who am I? Yes, the bhajan is good, singing more, whatever. The Jyoti is good, but that is always outside. Outside in terms of, being observed by the self, by the awareness. So I am suggesting that in addition to bhajan, in addition to Jyoti meditation and chanting Rudram and so on, that we also practice who am I.
Sarah, just to augment what Brother Anton is saying, many years ago there were these two devotees when Swami was in his 40s, long time ago. And they were doing lots of meditation, lots of bhajan singing, lots of seva, lots of everything. And they came to Swami once and they said, Swami, we're doing all these things, but we don't seem to be getting any closer to you. And he said to them, a quarter, what you doing? Bhajan, seva, meditation, etc. is a quarter of your sadhana. He said 3/4 of your sadhana should be self-inquiry. How I walk, how I talk, how I eat, how I think, how I breathe. Is it pleasing to Swami? And of course, Anton will say, who is Swami? And we could go on into that. But I just want to make that point. The Swami said 3/4 of your sadhana should be self-inquiry. Sarah.
Sairam. Thank you, Dr. Tiwari.
Thank you, Sister Nirmala Rapol. Very, very much appreciated. We're going to move straight on to our next presenter. We're going to look at the Seva wing, and we're going to invite Brother Bobby Maraj to come up and enlighten us on the wonderful work that is being done. Please give a warm round of applause.
Only because of sin. I was a non-believer of God, but somehow I was dragged to Puttaparthi with my wife. And roaming around, I don't want to stand in a line.
Dr. Gautam Tiwari, Central Coordinator of the West Indies, Sister Vinti, National President, my fellow Sai families, Sairam. And I will start with, well, of course, that was a very inspiring message that was just shared there by our brothers. And as the mantras, as the chant just said, may all the beings in all the worlds be happy. So basically, my little talk today would be based on that quote in terms of how we do our Seva offering. Most of what I wanted to talk about was already spoken about in the previous, by all the speakers. Everybody touched from environment and work with the schools and all of that. The areas already touched on. Swami has made it quite simple for us to do Seva because all he's asking us to do is to serve all beings in all the worlds. That's Samasta Loka Sukhino Bhavantu. Service is love in action. Baba says the best way to love God is to love all, serve all. One of the main principles of our organization is to help one realize one innate divinity by the practice of divine love through selfless service. And I've chosen to run the slides of basically what we have been doing for the last, I would say like from 2020 onwards, some of the projects that we have been involved in. So it sort of speaks for itself what the organization, what we have been doing in Trinidad. And we hope some of it can inspire some of the other devotees to get on board in terms of their Seva activities. The organization Seva Wing has undertaken by majority projects that have spanned a variety of physical offerings in terms of distribution of food hampers. During the COVID period, I think we had several grants from the government of Trinidad and Tobago. We did close to like over 1,000 plus hampers throughout the length and breadth of Trinidad and Tobago. Plus we had other devotees who came on board and also sponsored food hampers to different communities, and that was one of the massive projects we undertook during the COVID-19. We continue to feed the homeless. The Southeast region, they do food offering every Thursday with the homeless in South. We in the North, we serve the homeless in Port of Spain at least once a month, and we have our other Sai families. Actually, it's like 2,500 plus days of service feeding the homeless in Port of Spain since inception in around 2017, and that continues. We have hosted several medical clinics over the last few years, the last one being in late 2023, which was well received. Out of that, we were able to identify children, basically we had focused on the Londonville primary school, and we were able to identify kids who had issues with eyes and hearing and stuff like that. In this year, we propose to continue that. Devotees have been assisting with home repairs. We continue to assist students with books and devices. Well, again, that was mainly during the COVID period, and we still continue to do so at center level. We continue to deliver care packages for homes and hospital. The last one being done in Tobago. We distributed 50 care packages to the maternity ward at the Scarborough Hospital. We restarted our VIP project, which is taking the blind to the beach. And, again, for those who have experienced the VIP at Mayaro, it's a very rewarding event, and, it's well received by our disabled colleagues. Our Seva is also extended to animals, as Baba said, all beings, by visiting shelters and providing care and assistance to animals, and this has been more so done by our young adults. And again, our recent visit to Tobago, we did visit the Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, and we were able to distribute food and do a visit with the animals there, which again was well received and appreciated by the organizers, and we encourage you to do so. I know there's one in Penal we had helped out some time ago, and there are others in Trinidad. So besides serving people, there is a need for serving other beings. Of course, in the Seva Sssiott weighing in the organization, as our sister Marlene said, we are very much concerned about the environment, and we encourage tree planting, beach cleanups, and the promotion of reusable and degradable products. Our organization takes a holistic view to see that we ensure plants, animals, and humans are included in our service projects. We try our best to make all beings in this world happy. The question we need to ask ourselves is, what more can we do to serve the beings of this world? The dynamics of this world is changing due to phenomena like global warming, technological advancement. We experience, I think somebody was talking about what sort of world we would be experiencing in the future, but just this week you can come out of your homes because of the Sahara dust. So, you know, it's happening it's happening now then. We as an organization need to chart a course that ensures that our acts of love and service can continue to be compatible with the changing needs of the beings in this world. And now, in commemoration of Sssiott 100 birthday, this organization is focusing heavily on Sssiott. Some of the following projects fall under the scope of activities that have been outlined. And I think everybody have the handout with the Sssiott 100 and some of the items on this serving the community and the environment. It's in line with what our vision is in going forward and in celebrating Sssiott 100. One such project that falls in line with this vision is to make ourselves responsive in times of natural disasters. Very important when we have flooding, and you know, we have so many earthquake happening. You know, we have had major ones in several of our neighboring countries. So, you know, we must always be prepared. So I'm proposing that we create a database on volunteers and the resources that we have within the organization, and maybe probably start some sort of training program in terms of first responders based on the community we live in. Sometimes, you know, penal is flooded out, so those who live near such disasters, or we in the north, like St. Helena and areas like that, you can respond immediately. And sometimes all that is needed is not really food hampers and stuff like that, but it's like, you know, reaching out to people, providing like hot meals and stuff like that, medical personnel. Sometimes people can't reach to see a doctor if they're injured during flooding. We've had that experience during the 2018 flooding. As mentioned earlier on, Sister Marlene, she spoke about the tree planting initiative, and yes, we can start that like as soon as possible. And Sister Kalauti, we are proposing in the north to launch a tree planting project on Corpus Christi, and we invite everyone to come on board with us. We can plant 100 trees in one day. We have the space for it, and you know, and again, we're proposing this time to plant more fruit trees that can bear fruit to serve people. We have at the Eco Park, we have a lot of mango and stuff like that, and we actually have people who kind of don't say live off it, but they pick the fruits even before it's full, you know, and that's some of our migrant communities. So it is serving a purpose, and you know, we can do things like breadfruit and stuff like that people can benefit from. Baba says you have to realize that nature is a manifestation of God, hence nature should not be ignored. The organization is also fortunate, Sir spoke about this, fortunate to have under its wing 4 ECC centers that play an influential role in molding the minds of children. We can play a more active role in mentoring our students, providing financial assistance for children who live in low-income homes. Devotees can also volunteer their time to assist in the schools in whatever skills or resources they possess that can add value to the students and to the school infrastructure. So a lot of work is needed. There are things that can be done. Right now, we are trying to get the school up to standard for migration to the Ministry of Education, and there's a heavy cost involved. So whoever can volunteer, donate, encourage your friends or whatever, resourceful people who would like to be part of it. A lot of people don't know what we do, so it's a good time now to tell them what we're about, and those who may be able to assist us financially to reach that goal. Another major thing, I saw it in the Sci 100 also, promoting physical and mental well-being is also being highlighted as an important aspect of SEWA. We can set out to host clinics that do screening for lifestyle diseases like diabetes, hypertension, also vision, hearing, and dental screening, which we did at the last clinic. So again, I think there was a proposal from Southeast that we do a medical clinic in that area, and we can plan for that. And of course, last year our blood drive did not work out due to the unavailability of the blood bank unit, but we should make a go at it this year, and our target should be at least 100. So, and we don't have to really wait for the date, for the actual date. You can go to the blood bank either in South or at Mount Hope or at Port of Spain and make your donation. It's a new system now. They no longer give you a chit. So the idea is it's like selfless service, what we practice. You don't give blood to get blood. You give blood to create a database. So if there's somebody in need, you would have contributed to that blood bank. Swami has given us a golden opportunity to make an invaluable contribution to the world in which we exist. He has taught us how to make a difference in the world that is not always kind. Swami said service is the highest spiritual discipline. Prayer, meditation, or knowledge of scripture and Vedanta cannot help you reach the goal as quickly as service can. And I guess most of the speakers said that earlier on, that service is one of the sadhana you can do to attain that sort of effect or liberation. It extinguishes the ego and gives us all bliss. So basically that's just in a nutshell my presentation, and I'm open to any question you like to ask. Again, the video will show you some of the activities we did, which most of you may see yourself in it. So in some way or the other you may have been involved. That's Tobago at the maternity hospital. So I think I'm open for questions.
Shalom, Bobby. Just about the medical clinics, I want to just share with you something. Well, with Swami's grace, I've been involved in medical clinics since Mr. Pallavi Sr. was around. But unlike places like Africa and maybe even India, we have health offices in almost every single constituency in Trinidad. And I had experiences where you'll be in this clinic and somebody will come to you and they'll have tablets in this pocket from the health center and they'll have tablets from this pocket from the private doctor, and they'll be putting out their hand for more tablets, right? So I think that we should focus in Trinidad especially, and tomorrow morning I'll be speaking a bit about it, on chronic lifestyle diseases and educating people more. Yeah, educating them more, because I think the problem in Trinidad isn't so much, I'm not talking about, okay, you have to wait to get a CT scan and that kind. We can't provide those things, but we could provide them with health education to make them more aware, rather than just spend money on buying tablets and giving them and that sort of thing. And and one more thing.
Quite true on that, and then we can also focus more like on kids, but just to stay with that point in terms of offering like counseling, you can let people know that although people are visiting the health centers, although they are on medication, there's a phobia about taking the medication. So that's an area we can work on to get people to actually understand how important. If you're diabetic, you have to take your medication. If you're hypertension, you don't take it one day, you feel good, you take it next week. So yes, so that definitely, Doc, that will be our approach. Yeah. Sure.
And the other thing I want to share with you very quickly, the purpose of SEWA. I know Brother Bobby did speak about it, but I remember a short story Swami shared. He said Abraham Lincoln one day, you all know who Abraham Lincoln was. He was on his way to the Senate, to attend the Senate. And he was being driven in this horse-drawn carriage, and he saw a pig in a pool of mud, drowning, and the pig was squealing, for help. And he jumped out and he ran and he pulled the pig out of the pond, and all his clothes got dirty. And when he reached the Senate, U.S. Senate, they all were laughing at him. And then somebody said, "But listen, why didn't you ask your driver to go and help the pig?" And he said, "I didn't help the pig, He said, "When I heard the sounds of that pig squealing, it hurt my heart so much. I was getting chest pain. And the only way I could relieve that pain was to go and pull that pig out of the pond, So when we do savor, we think very often we are helping others, but we're helping ourselves much, much more. Sarah.
Sarah, I think anybody else? If not, I'll wrap up here. And yeah, go ahead. Yeah, I said our last visit to Tobago, we visited the animal shelter in Tobago, provided dog chow and cat food. It was well received. They are really in need because these are voluntary organizations. And there is our friend in Sssiott, I don't know what side she's on. Yeah, she speaks highly of other people. Lucy, Sister Lucy. So she's, you can also feel free to contribute to her project. She has a abundance of animal there. So as I wrap up, okay, Brother Dianan. Sarah.
And I like to advise people that when you're going to do your service, start at home. You have your brothers, sisters, parents. You can't say you're going to do service, you're going all about the place, and you have somebody home, and you're not seeing about it, and you're not assisting. You have your neighbors in your villages, your neighbors, right? Help your neighbors first. That way you will build your community and have the village closer together. And that way you have more love because you know somebody all these years, right? And we must not judge them even so, because sometimes when we go out, like the cooking, we do it in Sando there, I know most of the fellas in the streets there, plenty of them are ex-prisoners and all these things. So we might go and feed them and then study the neighbor, he does smoke weed. He needs help also. So we should not discriminate and try to help. And when we practice serving our family first, that is where the love is. So then we know how to practice and how to serve with love. I just want to make a comment on the devotional part. The Nagar Sankirtan has been left out for a number of years. We hardly do now. And Baba says one of the most important devotional activity, because we start the day and we sing, and it gives us a certain spirit. But when we walk in the village, people will wake up in the morning hearing the name of God. And when we do this and they hear the name of God, their whole day would start like that. So that is the importance of Nagar. Sairam, thank you.
Thank you. And as I wrap up, so we have like almost 100 people here, I think, in this forum. So I want to throw a challenge to you. We are proposing to do 100 trees on Corpus Christi. That's at Eco Park. It's a Thursday. It's Indian Arrival Day, a public holiday. We will let you know the time, and yes, we are proposing a Nagar Sankirtan in the morning for those who can make it, and then followed by tree planting. So apart from that 100, if each one of us can plant one tree, commit yourself to that, one tree, and then we plant the other 100 in St. Helena. Sairam, thank you.
Thank you, Brother Bobby, and congratulations on the wonderful work that you are doing with the Seva organization and all the members who participate. It's really, really commendable, and continue to do so. We have a few programs coming up, so reach out to Brother Bobby and involve yourself as much as you can. As you say, it's another part of the buffet, and the buffet lunch is kind of probably hitting on a few people now. Probably we need to get up and do some more clapping, but we close to a short break, so don't worry. We're going to have a short video by Brother Felipe Noguera, who is the chair of the Sssiott Education Board of Management, and he's going to be talking about community service as well. Please enjoy.
Ram, I offer my humble pranams at the lotus feet of Bhagwan Sssiott Sai Baba. The subject. Sairam, I offer my humble pranams at the lotus feet of Bhagwan Sssiott Sai Baba. Is one that the subject is very close to community my life and my practice. Beginning with Mr. Gopi Chan Ramsaran and the Val Saint Sai Center, Sister Devi Rahman, my wife Elizabeth Noguera, Ruth Telfer. We were trained as Balvikas teachers in the 1990s, and we taught students, children, our own children, as well as children from Bangladesh in near Kira. And apart from having the classes on Saturdays for the children, we would also, we worked with the parents in the community. And when floods came and the grandmother her home was destroyed, the Sai Center got together with the community and rebuilt the grandmother's house. And that was the first experience with applying education and human values by working with the children and extending it to community service. Later on, we had for about 10 years classes at the Russell Latipi Secondary School in Mova. And we were teaching children, Form 1 and Form 2 students. So we're talking about 12, 13, 14 years old. And I remember the very first day that we went to teach the class, and this was Dominic Pike, again my wife Elizabeth and myself, predominantly, for about 10 years. And the first day, the principal had two boys in his office and said, these boys were caught gambling in class. What do you think should be done about them? But I said, but before you answer, let me tell you about them. Their parents are both dead. They have a brother and sister who live on the streets of Port of Spain. And they have another brother who's about 18 years old, and he just runs a gambling place all 24/7 at his house. So what should be done? After a while, as the classes began to grow in popularity, we invited the wife of the president of the Senate at the time, Mrs. Montano, to come and see the classes. We also had an artist and griot, storyteller by the name of Theodora Ullery come. And I remember Theodora shouting, "Who is responsible for this? Who is responsible for this?" Because the children really needed a lot of attention and discipline. One boy asked, we said, well, why are we teaching these human values, truth, peace, love, right action, nonviolence? He said to help you to develop your conscience. And one boy, I remember Timothy, said, "I have no conscience." And it sent a chill up my spine. I said, well, we have to help Timothy to find a conscience. When Mrs. Montano came, the children asked her, "What do you do, miss?" She said, "I am an activist." I said, "Activist, what is that?" She said, "Well, I find animals in the street and I find homes for them." The boy said, "You could do that for me, miss?" Anyway, she had her husband take them out on his yacht. And as we're driving along Beetham, the boy points to the Labas. I said, "Are you living there, sir?" I said, "No, you mean you live in there in the Beetham?" He said, "No, sir, we live in there. We have shop and thing all over. We have plenty of people live inside there, you know." What the education human values classes did at the Russell Latipi level was, again, to try and inculcate in the curriculum, in a community school, the Baba's educator methodology. We went away, and I remember I was responsible for communications for Miami-Dade Public Schools. And speaking to the trustees of WLRN Radio, a lady came up to me and she said, I know what you are. You're a community educator. That's what you are. And I said, I've been called worse than that. Yeah, I'm a community educator. When we came back, we continued working with Devish Mirage and the Port of Spain Science Center, and we had classes at Oxford Street at Kwame Ture Center. And this is very interesting because while on Mondays there was computer class taught by Brother Jen Brandt, we had martial arts classes, on Tuesdays yoga, on Wednesdays academic, Thursdays EHV classes, and on Friday and on Saturdays, Brother Gautam Tiwari, Dr. Tiwari, would hold a free medical clinic for the elders in the community. Now that, for 2 years or more, we taught classes at the Kwame Ture Center. Right next door was a crack house selling cocaine. They were shooting sometimes in the area. We had computers. No one ever broke into the building. No teacher or student was ever harassed. The community, in spite of the difficult conditions that it faced, still supported the classes. And this is an example of the kind of unity that needs to build with the community and the classes, the students with education and human values. I want to conclude by noting that earlier today, I went, and my wife and I, Liz and I, went to Dharmakshetra. We'd never been to the Ishwara Masai Center before. Thinking that we were presenting earlier today, we went there. When I saw it, we were both struck with the idea that here is the possibility for building a Sai Institute for Higher Learning in Trinidad and Tobago that would serve to build and to unite the entire country as a community, indeed the entire Caribbean as a community, perhaps even the Western Hemisphere, as a community that could help to usher in the golden age that Sai Baba has promised is coming in a generation or less. And we would like to encourage you to think about how we can use this institution to build and to achieve that goal. Thank you very much for listening, Sarah.
A very, very heartfelt thank you to Brother Felipe. I think he's watching us on the live stream, so thank you very much, brother. I don't know if he's on the beach in Tobago or if he's having our bacon and vegetables, but enjoy for all of us. We're enjoying it here as well. Very inspiring content. And, you know, he did suggest a wonderful thought to have a grander Institute of Education here for the West Indies. And that will do phenomenal service. Continuing along this line, we have Sister Indira Kalu, who is the Deputy Director of the Sai Institute of Education for the West Indies. So she's going to be continuing this conversation in a very enlightening manner. Please welcome Sister Indira.
Thank you for that wonderful introduction. Sairam, Assalamu alaikum, and a pleasant good afternoon to those present here and those on live stream. I was given this divine opportunity to bring to you meaningful ways of expansion of such a Sai education programs in the community. The first part of this presentation will touch a little on the 5 human values, just to refresh what you already know. The aims of this topic are to create an awareness of the 5 human values, which are truth, right action, peace, love, and nonviolence, to help create a strong, caring community and to help citizens develop social responsibility and character building. The objectives are to highlight various methods to implement SSCHB in the community, to infuse human values in the community outreach program. Here's a little touch on the philosophy of SSCHB. The first part of education is related to the academic knowledge. The second aspect is related to the spiritual education. Sssiott Sai Baba says, the human values are inherent in man, and through the process of educare, we can bring them out and translate them into action. We are all born with the human values, but man has forgotten to take the spiritual, the moral, and the ethical aspect of life. If man adheres to the human values, the world will once more become a peaceful place. It is the morals and values that uphold society. Baba says, you can only attain peace out of human values. The only way to promote harmony and balance in life is to promote human values. As a CHV is being promoted worldwide, we have heard about the Miracle School in Kenya and the top performing school in Canada. And we had this morning first-hand information of our own Sssiott Sai Primary School in Trinidad. Here are the 5 human values, and they are all interdependent on one another, with love sustaining all the other values. The human values are as old as civilization, and they all link to one another. Love in thought is truth. Love in action is right action. Love and feeling is peace. Love and understanding is nonviolence. And love, the sustenance of all the values. Prema Sarupa, embodiments of love. So here we see the link of the 5 human values together with the link of the 5 teaching techniques. These techniques will be incorporated in all SSCHB programs as we reach out to the community. Silent sitting brings on peace. Quotation, affirmation brings on truth. Singing brings on the value of love. Story or motivational lessons will bring on the value of nonviolence. And activities or life applications will bring in the value of right action. So why Baba always stress on service, and we now had a lot to digest on all the service activity and savor activity in Trinidad and Tobago. Baba says service to man is service to God. Love all, serve all. Be kind in your thoughts, in your words, and in your deeds. And this will help us as we serve as a CHB in the community. So how can we spread SSVHB in the community? Well, we know the song, who are the people in the neighborhood, in the neighborhood? Who are the people in the neighborhood? The people that you meet each day. So the people that you meet each day are the people who we are going to help serve in the community. So we have all the government schools, the ECC, primary and secondary, children's home, youth clubs, youth groups. We have in the community itself, we have like the dropouts, the homeless, all the others, university students, home for the aged, PTA groups, or parent support group, various workplaces, symposium, conferences, clinics, health centers, women's group, bars, recreational club, prison, YTC, Myla. Yes, in the bars, they at point the drink, people are pouring out all their problems. So it's where we have to start somewhere. So YTC and Myla are the two that I would like to give a little more focus on, because we are targeting the youths, and these are the youths that need to have a focus in life. So we will need all hands on deck as we start with this. So we have already started spreading SSEHB to the community. We had a 5 set-aside school. Well, the video this morning was really enlightening, and we saw all that is happening at the school. We had the values walk. We can spread it among our family members, interfaith service, among the homeless, children's home, international conferences, in our community, in our own site centers, workplaces, among our friends and relatives, and on social media. So some possible ways to promote SSEHB through advertisements, quotations or positive affirmations on school walls and business places, public matches, sports day, workshops, exhibitions, schools, interfaith service, debates, another one I would like to work on, anywhere with a target audience. As I see it, we have been spreading at a children's home, and quite a few have been exposed to citizen education and human values. There are a few that were targeted. Some were not functioning at this moment, but I did not give up on the challenges. As I stopped at one, I continued at another one. So the St. Mary's Children's Home was the first home where SSEHB was introduced. Classes were done face-to-face on Saturdays. I remember the first day that I started classes, while I was preparing the children for silent sitting, thinking that they don't know. Some children went and they sat in the spot, their posture, and they had their hands up, and they were saying, oh. And I was really amazed. I don't know, I didn't want to introduce anything like that. We just doing silent sitting or creative visualization. And then I said, but where did you learn that? They said, oh, Mr. Sssiott, this cartoon. So there was some cartoon that they were doing yoga, they were doing silent sitting and all that. SSEHB was put on hold during the lockdown period, and at present, the volunteer program is mainly concentrated on the homework center. Well, when their classes had stopped, I went to the Wesleyan Children's School. Classes were down there online. Children responded well. They gave some really good answers. And in order to make it really interesting and interactive, I prepared worksheets, and I supplied stationery and all that, and I took to the home. And everything was really going well until there was a change in the management of the home, and he had discontinued all the volunteer program. Then we move on to the St. Mary's, the Margaret Kisto Children's Home. At this home, there were almost 40 children there, and we had 3 groups of children. Group 1 was conducted by Ms. Kunti Maturu and myself. Group 2 was done by Sister Primati Rupchan. And Group 3 was a combination of preschool and SSEHB classes. Classes were discontinued here when there was an issue with the registration at that time with the government. But Mrs. Kisto is happy to start class again during the Easter vacation. SSEHB at the Jayalakshmi Children's Home was also done online. The children who were in the SSEHB class were enjoying the session. They really enjoyed the singing. They used to say, Miss, you're singing Love All, Serve All today. And, they would sing the whole Hanuman Chalisa. They were really exposed to a lot of things there at the home. But somehow a new child came in, and she had some really disruptive behavior, and she damaged all the devices at the home. So classes were discontinued there, but I did not give up. I keep continuing calling the home and interacting with the manager there, and she said, one day she said, Miss, you know, we have 2 children who need some work in the preschool and all that. And I started working with them, and one of the boys now, he's at Landerville Cityside Primary School. He's not enrolled or registered, but he just exposed him to the social aspect of it and to get him into the school routine for September. He's there, and I'm helping him at this moment. I give you a little rundown of all those homes so you would have an idea where we are and what we can do. So now it's to you. How can we promote SSCHP in your community? So what can you do? What are your smart plans and suggestions for Sci 100 initiative? Oh, I didn't read the last part. Did you gonna ask a question? No? Or no? Our time.
Just want to, Sister Indira, yeah, you know, long ago the focus used to be on SSE, which we used to call Baldikas. But Sister Vinti always tells me that people stop making children now, so we don't have we don't have many children in the centers anymore. So I think the work you're doing is fantastic. But I think more of us have to, you know, we both attended the conference in Barbados. More of us have to get trained in EHV, and more of us have to go out in the communities and take up that battle and really do work. We don't need to sit in the center and say, we do have children. There are children out there. We have to go out and reach out to them, like what you're doing. And the training, if anybody wants training, please contact us, and we could always make arrangements for training you in EHV and how to go out in the community. Sarah.
Yes, Sarah, I just want to say something. Sister Indira, we really applaud you for reaching out and pushing EHV in the community. I mean, you've done a fantastic job. You've shared so many projects that you are involved in. What I want to ask you is if you can, when you are going out there, invite others or tell them, look, I need help in this area because you seem to be on the ground there. And of course, we'll have to train them. So we could start by doing that. You're aware of where, what you're about. Okay. But if you can ask others to join in at, your level, and then we'll proceed on that.
Yeah, yes? Sure. We can, according to the lesson, we can use a special skills, like if you're doing a lesson on cookery, or, we could always make it interesting for the children. And so we have to get on board. So let's get together with the Sci 100 initiative program as we move forward. If we could get 100, if among all the different wings, we can get 100 program going. So we have until 2025, so I think we can make it work. Thank you, Syra.
Syra Mall,
Yes.
are we doing anything to try to curb the addiction of cell phone with the children?
What? Any other question?
With regards to cell phone, I think it soon will become part of the school curriculum because it's needed for information. I see my daughter use it to get information on certain website and all that. So,
Okay.
with
Okay,
regards
so
to
I
addiction,
wrong.
I don't
Thank
know how
you.
we curb that.
Thank you so much. Looking forward to working together with you.
Thank you, Sister Indira. Give her a round of applause, please.
Charlie wanted the answer to addiction. But tomorrow morning I'll be doing a talk on EASE, which is about eating, exercise, awareness, and that sort of thing. And we will address the addiction to cell phones. Thanks.
So Charlie, you'll get that answer tomorrow morning. So we want to break for a short refresher. Just about 15 minutes. You can have a washroom break, have some tea, and so on and so forth. Just to give you an idea of what we have planned for the rest of the afternoon. When we come back, we just have 3 short presentations, and then we're going to close. And then we're going to regroup for dinner around 6:30. And we have a special, wonderful musical presentation for the evening, which we believe you all will be thrilled about. So something to look forward to. And then we regroup in the morning as well for 6 a.m. for Nagara and chanting. So please have your refreshments now.